Hi everyone, welcome to this short video with some of our student ambassadors. This particular talk is going to be on pathways to university, and we've got Amy, Jenny and Gemma with us today to share some of their experiences. So hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. So first of all, I'm just going to go around and quickly ask you, first of all, your name and what you're studying. So Amy, should we start with you?
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a first year on the Sport and Exercise Science degree.
Lovely, nice to meet you, Amy. And Jenny?
Hi, my name's Jenny and I'm a first year journalism student.
And last but not least, of course, Gemma.
Hi, I'm Gemma and I'm a second year maths student.
Lovely. Thanks for being here today, guys. So so what we thought we'd do with this particular talk, rather than hear me just talking about university and pathways to university, I thought this experience would be really great to hear your individual stories about your journey to where you are now and why you're studying with us now. So what we'll do, Amy, maybe we'll start with you. I'd just like to maybe just take yourself back really to when you were perhaps even your GCSEs or taking your A-levels or BTECs back in year 12 or 13. So what position were you in then, and what made you decide to apply to Brighton and come to us?
I just knew that I loved sport from a really young age. So I used to horse ride when I was really young. And then when I joined secondary school, I started playing football. And then at year 9, we had to choose our options. So I knew I was going to pick the BTEC level 2 sport, is what I started with, alongside like the maths, English. I did triple science as well, which I chose to do. And then at college, I did the level 3 version of what I'd already done. The GCSEs stressed me out quite a lot. So when I finished my GCSEs, I was going to go straight to sixth form. And then after my GCSEs, I was like, no, I can't do this. Really? So I changed my mind and went to college and did the 2-year BTEC version instead.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting actually. So you from quite a young age you knew you wanted to do that. Did you know that you could do sport at university or sports sciences?
Yeah, not really. It wasn't spoken about that much, especially because I wasn't like an athlete from a young age. I wasn't in an academy or anything. So that I think because obviously women's football as well, it was never really a job. So when I started liking it, then I thought I wanted to be a PE teacher. So that was like the first immediate route, probably because I got on quite well with my PE teacher at school. So it was like a role model for me, and that's how it started, really.
Brilliant. And then you kind of went on and did your research about how to get where you want to be. No, that's brilliant. Thanks, Amy. We'll chat about that in a bit more detail. So Jenny, hiya. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your journey? Take yourself back to when you were at sort of school or college, and what brought you to being where you are today?
Yeah, so I was a bit different to Amy. I actually didn't know that I wanted to do journalism until like really the moment that we needed to apply for university. I just knew that I'd always loved writing, and at GCSEs I noticed that the sort of area I thrived at was like English. So I knew that I wanted to do something to do with writing or media. So I went on to college to do A-levels, and I did literature, language and media. And I just sort of looked at my options and thought actually journalism like ticks every box for me. So I started like looking into universities, and I noticed that Brighton had the qualification, which is the NCTJ, which is really important to employers. So I thought Brighton, it's not too far away from home. It has this really good qualification. Let's go for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's you know, a really interesting sort of pathway that you came through that way. Did you, when you were like making those choices, you said you sort of like worked out that process yourself. Did you have any help along the way? Did you speak to people, or did you have a particular tutor? Or was that a decision you just came to completely on your own?
I found that a lot of it was sort of online research, like looking into, you can get those like quizzes online and everything like that. I actually found that kind of thing really useful because it does go through your skills and what you enjoy. And I think university, a really big part of it, is not just what you're good at, it's what you really enjoy doing. And I really enjoy writing. I really enjoy talking to people and finding out their stories and giving people a voice that they wouldn't necessarily have without the media. So I had a really useful college team as well of staff helping me. Just felt that it really suited me and suited what I enjoyed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. And I think that's really important what you said there, Jenny, about you're going to be studying for a while. So it's just so essential that you are doing something that you enjoy and not just something that you think you might be doing. And I think it's really important to do your research because there's so many different courses out there, as you guys know. So there's so much to choose from, and but it's going to be like there is something for you. So thanks, Jenny. Gemma, how about you? How did you end up on the course here at Brighton?
Well, actually, I originally applied for medicine at Brighton, and I guess I wasn't too sure what kind of course I wanted to go into the medicine field, so like paramedic science and I looked at loads of different unis, but I just loved Brighton, and I'm quite local to Brighton as well, and I knew that I wasn't ready to go off somewhere far away, and I knew that also having a year out wasn't for me, so I thought I'll go somewhere local, so that I always have the choice to come home. But basically through like the application process and stuff, I kind of realised actually my passion is maths, but due to medicine being like quite an early application process, I'd already like put my application in. But yeah, long story short, on results day I chose to study maths, and I chose Brighton because that was my favourite uni.
Yeah, great, thanks, Gemma. And I think your story is really interesting because it does demonstrate, you know, that you may have made some decisions before about a particular pathway that you want to go down, but picking the right course for you is so important. So if you do get to that point where you think actually this isn't for me, you do have those options. Did you feel quite supported, Gemma, with that? Did you sort of seek out advice from your school or friends or family or anything? Or
yeah, I did actually, especially on results day, because that was obviously when I had to ring up clearing. I actually spoke to all of my teachers and I was like, what's your opinion? Because, you know, my passion is maths, and they just said, yeah, follow your passion, and now's the chance to do it, really.
Yeah, brilliant. And then just kind of a general question really to all of you guys. I think when you were picking all of your choices and when you started, did you have an idea of a career sort of path in mind, or were you just picking something? You've sort of answered that a little bit already, but Amy, I know you said you were really interested in sport, and then you had the realization about becoming a PE teacher. So did it help having that in mind, or do you think sort of being on the degree made you kind of decide that sort of more firmly?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the only option that I thought in secondary school. Nobody really spoke about sport and exercise science at all at school. And so when I applied, I had 5 different courses, and 2 of them were PE teacher courses. So when I applied to Brighton, even in year 12, I still wasn't sure. So I applied for both the PE with QTS and the sport and exercise science. So that in a later date, obviously depending on the results, I could decide then. And I didn't decide till the very last minute. But yeah, I chose sport and exercise science because you can choose PE modules as well. So in second year, you can choose 2 PE-based modules, and you can come out with a sport and exercise science with PE degree. So I just thought it was more open because I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, and I think that is really a really important thing to note there, is that it's fine to be unsure, but you do have these kind of options and choices open to you. Can I just ask like another question to all of you guys? So I know, Gemma, you said you were local to Brighton. So yeah, so you sort of picked Brighton for that reason, I'm assuming because, you know, you're near to links at home. But Jenny, are you local to Brighton, or did you move down here for uni?
So I did actually move, even though I'm only about an hour's drive away, but I thought that independence was really important to me, and to sort of be able to have that option to live on my own, to do even like your own food shopping. It feels like a really big deal when you first move to uni. So I really enjoyed that option to still be quite near to home, and to be able to go home if I needed to, but actually still have that independence.
Absolutely, yeah, and that is, as you guys probably agree, it's not always just about moving away from home, but it's also about learning those independent skills, isn't it? It's about you know, living independently, managing your time, managing your studies alongside that. And Gemma, for you, so when you kind of came to university and you did have that kind of change of course, was it what you were expecting when you got here? What were you expecting? Did you have like a preconceived idea of what it might be like? I suppose doing medicine maybe, but did it live up to your expectations, or was it different? Did anything surprise you?
I mean, the most surprising thing was I was prepared to be in a lecture hall with about 500 people, like doing medicine. And my maths class, there's about 20 of us in it. So it was such a huge thing of actually being able to interact with, like, knowing everyone in my course and actually knowing my lecturers as well. But yeah, the support here is like amazing. The lecturers are always available. And also, I mean, I kind of knew Brighton anyway because I'm local, but it just really is like a student city. Like everyone's always out. You see people you know all the time. Yeah, it really lived up to my expectations. Yeah.
Fabulous. Brilliant. Okay, guys. Well, we're almost just coming to the end of this short talk now. But before we go, I'm just going to maybe go around each of you, and just say, if you can think of something. I was just going to say, if you had a word of advice for anyone in year 12 or year 13, or even yourself when you were that age, what would it be if you could say that to them now? If you're putting yourself in their shoes. Amy, should we start with you?
I would just say, don't put so much pressure on yourself. I put so much pressure on wanting to know what I was going to do, what grades I had to get, that I kind of ruined the time that I was there because I was worrying about the next step. So just choose what you enjoy and follow it. That's what I would say.
Brilliant advice. I think that's so important, and you know that advice and guidance is there, so do seek it out. But if you do just want to take that time yourself to kind of come to those decisions, absolutely, it's an important one to make. Thanks, Amy. Jenny, how about you?
One thing I would say is that when I was at college, I was worried that I'd feel so out of my depth starting a new course at uni, and I thought, like, I've never studied journalism before. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Everyone's going to be better than me, but actually, like, there's a reason for those grade requirements that they give you. Like, so for me, it was BBC I needed to get in, and I surpassed that, thankfully. But there's a reason for those. It means that once you get those, you'll definitely be able to start, and that's a starting point for you. They're not going to give you more than you can bear. So yeah, that's something I would say. Don't feel like you're going to be out of your depth, because you won't.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jenny. And Gemma, any words of wisdom to finish with?
I would say go with your passion, really. Even if you don't know what job you want to go into, if you find something you love, go for it, and you'll find out jobs on the way, really.
Yeah, brilliant. No, great advice. And I really like what you were saying, Gemma, before about, you know, you had anxieties about, fitting in, about whether or not it was going to be, the place for you. But great. It's brilliant to hear all of your insights. So we'll leave it there. But thanks so much for your time, guys. I've really enjoyed chatting to you today. And, best of luck with all of your studies. And we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.